Hello and welcome back to Cardboard Decoy Plays Kerbal Space Program. Let's get this show on the road. Alright, so we're launching the fuel first because we'll want to dock our cruiser that we made in the last episode to this fuel here. So that's the ideal situation. That's what we're hoping will end up happening. So hope against hope, etc. All of that fun, and then we'll see what happens. Especially as I continue to get at least reasonably better at docking procedures. And then it looks like we should be just good to go, really, all around. So we got plenty of monopropellant. Our fuel's doing fine. Solid fuel's running out on schedule, etc., etc. And it looks like, even though we have a heavier payload than usual, we might be able to get into space with this. So, and we'll see what kind of a fuel surplus or deficit we happen to have. Again, since re-entry isn't a problem, if we run a little bit low on fuel but still manage to get into Kerbin's orbit, we can at least aero brake or whatever, and things will be fine from there on out. So not a huge deal at all. We'll be able to hopefully mostly make it. Official word is we should mostly make it. But as you can see, as our solid fuel runs out, we're about to get out of the thickest part of the atmosphere, and our liquid fuel is doing just fine still, regardless. So we might be just super dandy. So let's go ahead and start our gravity turn. We're going to monitor this situation. There's our debris flying off. Oh, we needed to turn some more. Let's go ahead and turn on RCS to make sure we get this before we totally run out of whatever it is that we need to launch. Fuel, that's what it is. So this will be a huge determining factor in how well this rocket's going to perform by whenever we actually run out of fuel in our attempts to create an orbit here. So we still need to get a little bit higher up here. We're gaining more height. And that is 70. Cool. Alright, so we'll go ahead and turn. We have RCS activated. We have like no fuel left, but that's actually within tolerances. I dare say that we're probably fine at this point. Of course, famous last words, all of that fun stuff. We'll see how it actually does end up turning out. But I have at least reasonable hopes for this being okay, even though we're moving considerably more mass than we have for our previous deliveries into space. So, let's see. And until I can sell my house, I will live on this fanciful spaceship in fantastic space. That might not be the exact quote, but still, perfect hair forever. It's been like, maybe 80 or so episodes of content since I've mentioned that, so it was due. What can I say? Especially since, fantastic space is a great element from that show. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. It's fine. So, okay. And we're waiting for the thingy to go just barely past us. And then we'll fire up the rockets, which will promptly run out. Promptly. Ah! Okay, so there's a flaw with this design, and I have yet to actually save it. Maybe I should do that. Hold on, give me a second. This was like, we're going to revert to assembly. So, like ages ago, whenever I was modifying this thing, one of the separation modules, namely this one, fires off the same as the previous stage, which separates two different stages at the same time. So sorry about that. Let's go ahead and medium fuel launcher save, launch. I just have to remember to fix that. It's almost as bad as the launch pad thing where I just crashed into the launch pad immediately. But hey, now I can just ramble again for like another 3 or 4 minutes. So, everybody likes that, right? Okay, cool. So let's throttle up and launch. Easy peasy, SAS, and yeah, here we go again on our own. Going down the only road we've ever known, which is straight up into the sky. So, good stuff, I like it. And, yeah, there's our launching thingies, which we will continue to see until it is time to start the next launch. So I haven't tried making any like ballistic cluster missiles or anything, which seems to be fairly popular these days now that the buildings are destructible, and such a thing amuses me for certain. But I don't know. I haven't felt the urge, I suppose you could say, to destroy everything just yet. The more I'm thinking about this, I'm like, if we just added like 2 more solid fuel rockets, I'm sure that would totally counter the difference in fuel that we're using in order to get ourselves out of the atmosphere here. Which, if it actually becomes a problem, given our current fuel stores and everything, we might actually do. So, Yeah. But yeah, we're basically just launching. And the only reason why I'm recording this particular event is because I want to see if I can actually get these out at all. That's kind of the big question. Okay, gravity turn time. Alright. Don't overcorrect. So it'll turn out of its own gravity turn if I let it, just because we're still experiencing a great deal of air resistance. So I discovered this over time as well. So there we go. That is, no, we've already passed the solid fuel boosters, past the render distance, so we're not going to see them anymore, unfortunately. It would be kind of cool to see everything explode. So, and the moon is right on the other side of us, we can see, because we have X-ray vision on our Mooner station, and also Jeb on the moon still. Don't worry, Jeb, we're coming. And then we can actually see Duna all the way over there, because we have satellites over there. Everything's kind of lined up right now. That's kind of cool. You don't see that often. Kind of like with the eclipse from a few episodes ago. That was really cool. I like that. That is... You don't normally think about that as being a thing that could happen, but if you're in the right place at the right time, you will totally see a Kerbal eclipse. So, okay, let's go ahead and RCS up. Turn you. Why aren't you turning? Okay, it's turning, but very slowly. That's a little unfortunate. Okay. It must be because we still have, like, the great bulk of our rockets still attached. Alright, and then there we go. 10 degrees is about where I like it. And that works too. Okay, we'll let it stabilize. And again, we're waiting for this to pass. And let's double check our staging. Yeah, that's not going to go flying off now, which is fantastic. Stop correcting. Thank you. And wait for it. We have a little bit more fuel than we did last time. That's kind of cool. So again, we're... Iterative play. Iterative play is great because you can really see how much better you get with every attempt. And if your game does that, then that's like top tier design in my opinion. Okay, and now we are on our for serious attempt to get an orbit here, which shouldn't be too difficult. I'm just slightly correcting my angles so that we are not gaining or losing height on apoapsis here. We want a little bit because we want to try to keep apoapsis ahead of us, but by that same token, we don't necessarily need it to go, like, flipping crazy on us or anything. Alright. And, yeah, still gaining speed, gaining speed, gaining speed. And this is going to be the real determining factor as to how well the fuel is operating. The good news is we could totally transfer fuel if we wanted to, and get it into our ship if we absolutely had to. But, you know, we're going to try to avoid that scenario because it would be a little excessive, maybe. Okay. And carbon apoapsis. Oh, now it's really gaining because we're pointing down. You gotta remember how orbits work. Okay, then we point up. And it flips. Let's go ahead and, yeah, make sure that's above 70-ish. Yeah, you know what? I'm happy with that. Alright, so and that's about as circular as it's gonna get. Let's go ahead and see if we can't get to the moon super quickly here. Yee. Whoa! Okay. Seriously, the thing goes from, like, totally fine to ridiculously overcompensated very quickly. Alright, can we maybe... No, that's probably a bad idea. Let's not do that. Alright, there we go. That's good enough for me. 33 seconds is fine, given that we have a larger cargo. You can really tell, like, the differences in burn time requirements, depending on your cargo size, I've noticed. So whenever I had, like, just the... electrical power arms, like, it only required like 26 seconds, but moving the base and this stuff requires several more seconds than that. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. I don't know. So let's go ahead and turn this guy around. Okay, there we go. And then we just need to line up and get ready for the burn. It's going to be close, I think. Yeah, but the fact that we're still going to need 33 seconds of burn with the fuel that we have, we might not be able to make it back to Kerbin on our first shot here, which means we might just dock this pod and then attach it to a recovery ship later or something. And that could be kind of its own interesting thing for sure. Okay. And let's just speed up time a little bit. Okay. And there we go. That's about where we want to be. Then we'll do our final adjustments and get ready to burn. We'll start a slow burn first, and that'll help us have control of which way we're pointing. And now we do full burn. We're going to watch our fuel. Keep in mind, usually our main tanks don't burn out until we're already adjusting our orbit around the moon, so you can get kind of an idea of what our fuel situation is going to be in the long run here. So there goes our main engine. So here we go. Yeah, this is either going to be a situation where we just need to add like another set of solid rocket boosters to the ship, or you know, we're really creating a problem with this much weight that I am not currently equipped to handle. Yeah, look at how much fuel that we have left, so this is not so great. Nope. Okay, and so yeah, I think I'm gonna probably just call it at that. Alright, so now we're on our way to the moon, but we don't even have enough fuel to make a decent orbit or try to rendezvous, so we're gonna go ahead and revert to assembly, and then we'll see our last little experiment here will be how many solid rocket boosters can we sit on here that will actually get us out to space. 2, 3, 4. In fantastic space! Alright, let's start with this middle one here. Yeah, if we double this, I'm thinking this should be enough to take care of us. Alright. 8 medium fuel launcher, save, and launch. Oh, they're all separate stages, but that's fine. We'll fix all of this very quickly. Okay. Time warp, 1x, blah blah blah. Okay, we need you to go here. I'm throttling up while I'm organizing this. In theory, but it doesn't like multiple inputs apparently, so no clicking and hitting shift at the same time. Good to know. Alright, let's see what happens. Alright, that already is a much more handsome situation. So, we haven't necessarily doubled our thrust, but we have doubled our atmospheric velocity potential here, which is good, which is exactly what we want to have happen at this point. So, either that or I'm just talking out my ass because I'm not exactly sure what it is I'm going on about. You know, that's fine too, that's whatever. Okay, so that's our liquid fuel down there. I'm still watching that. I'm hoping... Yeah, no, this is... everything's doing what it's supposed to. For a second, with how fast it was draining earlier, I was kind of wondering if maybe there was some sort of a fuel flow issue that I wasn't noticing. Alright, we've got really good velocity so far. And our solid fuel is still hanging in there. I think, yeah, we've got more velocity and more height at the time of our solid fuel going out here than before, so this is good. This is a good sign. We're going to start our gravity turn while we still have some fins to negotiate it with. Yes, okay, that is just enough thrust to be able to pull that off without tearing apart parts of our ship in the process. So here we go, here's our gravity turn. We're going to make it a little bit steeper than before to hopefully get that much more horizontal velocity. So either this works or it doesn't, and then we go back to the drawing board with our booster rockets for fuel in the future. Oh, hey. Okay, so we've already hit our height requirement there. Let's see. Turn. Yeah, look at how much liquid fuel we have left. This might go substantially better. That's going to make a huge amount of difference down the line. Okay. Oh, no. I'm turning it the wrong way. Damn it. Okay. Let's go up a little bit. And then right. Okay. Now, I hit X to kill my engines there. And I'm like, no, I want to stop everything. Okay. There we go. That's fine. Okay, cool. Now we're just waiting for Prograde to match up with us here. We are out of the atmosphere, so we're no longer going to be altered necessarily by all these other forces that surround us at all times, except for gravity and whatever forces we've already applied to our ship. So I'm just making tiny adjustments to make sure that maintains itself as such. We've only used one unit of monopropellant, which is just crazy to me. Alright. And then we are going to throttle up right now. Okay. This should give us some pretty decent horizontal momentum. And let's see what happens, shall we? Whenever we run out of fuel, that's going to be a huge indicator, because depending on how much more of our orbital velocity we're going to have to achieve with these remaining rockets is going to be the big determining factor in how successful this thing is. So, and I'm having pretty good feelings about this. I think this is probably going to be fine. So let's go ahead and see what we need to do to make this go up. Okay, yeah, it's going up just a little bit. That's fine. So we'll get to our mooner burn and see how much fuel we have left after we start doing that. And yeah, as long as we can get in position, because we don't need that much fuel to get home, since we're going to be pretty light on our way back. But we will just need enough fuel to be able to get out of orbit and all that other stuff. In our previous attempt, that did not work. So this is a very sciencey, experimentational kind of run here. Okay, that's not working. Oh boy. Oh boy, here we go. I'm messing it up. Whoops. Okay, there we go. We have a periapsis. Oh boy, are we entering the frickin' atmosphere again? Did I just screw it up that bad? I think I did. Okay. Alright. Let's just do this, shall we? This ought to be interesting. Yeah, we're cruising around. Let's turn off RCS. We don't need that. Let's see what actually happens. I'm a little nervous. If nothing else, this is one for the foibles, and then I'll launch this off camera and get it up on the space station and be like, yeah, no, I got it to work. Don't worry about it. We'll launch another one in the future, and you'll see how it worked. So, okay, now we are ascending. And yeah, we actually have a lot of fuel, so this is really good. Why in the hell are those there? Okay, well, that's not the greatest of signs. Sigh. They've already been deployed, though, so whatever. As soon as we enter atmosphere, they'll pop out, and we'll be like, what the? Oh, yeah. Okay, we're good. And we might actually be fine now that I'm looking at this. So let's go ahead and go back to map. We still have a pretty considerable amount of time. All right, let's, yeah, map. There we go. Correct buttons. All right, that's not too bad. We'll get to apoapsis here, and then enlarge our orbit a little bit, and then hopefully go from there in totally manageable ways. Okay. And apoapsis in 30 seconds. That's totally fine. Monopropellant looking good. Turn it around. Aiming prograde. Okay. Just start slowing down early there. We don't want to pass it up entirely. Even with RCS, again, you really start feeling the mass of your ship whenever you start trying to control it like this. So maybe I should have put some control wheels on the tanks just to make this part a little bit easier. But oh well, hindsight and all that. All right, we're gonna go ahead and circularize this. Just because if nothing else, we're at least paying into our delta V for escaping the Kerbin's orbit. There we go. Our main engine is dead. That's more or less okay. I'm alright with it. Alright, and then we're going to kind of guesstimate about where we need to be. We have to adjust our orbit a little bit because it takes longer now for us to actually get around this orbit. Alright, burn time, 45 seconds. That's bad. Okay, well, how many rockets do we have on this thing in our interplanetary stage? Yeah, it's only 6. Well, let's just, for the sake of, for shits and giggles and all of that good jazz, let's go ahead and rearrange ourselves here. I'm wondering if it would have been any better if we weren't 500 meters out. Like, well, no, that other burn was a lot shorter, so I guess that is why you want kind of a close orbit, but I screwed it up. So, yeah, I'll just have to keep trying launches until I actually get it. So, there we go. Adjust. What I might do is launch this and the cruiser and get them in orbits around the moon, and then my next few episodes will be attaching them and getting them unattached and operating and everything all at the same time, and maybe that'll be a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and time warp. And for science, we're going to see exactly what this ends up, how this ends up playing out. 2, 1, 0. Okay, and that's about enough. Yeah, why not? All right, cool. We're on full blast. Trying to get these fuel tanks to our station. What a pain in the ass. I guess if I get trapped up there and then I ditch my main engines here and then move everything else to the space station, the next ship that comes to attach the cruiser could actually bring my pod back home. That would be kind of cool. That's not a bad way of doing it. Also, again, since I don't really need science, I could totally do all of this with drones too. That's not a bad idea. Alright, and... Ooh. Okay, and slightly more adjustments. Yeah, this isn't even going to be enough fuel to... well, you know what? Yeah. Let's see. How much time do we have left? Yeah. You know what? I don't even like it. I don't think we can even get a good orbit with this. So I'm going to go do some redesigning, and yeah, I'll launch some ships up into the atmosphere and get them over around the moon eventually, one way or another, and then all will be well. That'll be the plan. So yeah, stay tuned for that. This has been Cardboard Decoy playing Kerbal Space Program. If you've enjoyed, please do like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Have fun.